In our last lesson, we practiced the magical art of conjuring. We discovered that conjuring is not limited to seeing clear pictures in the mind. We can create an inner experience of what we desire through sound, sensation, emotion, movement, overall vibes, atmosphere, memory, or just simply an inner knowing. However the experience presents itself to us, we can conjure it. But once we have conjured an experience, we need to be able to prolong it and remain with it. If we conjure something for only a moment before our attention scatters in several directions, we cannot do much with it, magically speaking. And that's where the skill of concentration comes in. Conjuring creates the desired inner experience. Concentration keeps that experience focused in the mind long enough for us to continue working with it. There is a lot involved in building a thought form, more than just conjuring and concentration, and we're not going to attempt the entire process today. In this series, The Practice of Magic, we are isolating individual skills so that we can become familiar with each one and build it. Today, we are adding only one new skill. We are learning how to remain with what we have conjured. You might think of the difference between a flashlight and a laser. Both produce light, but the light from a flashlight spreads across a wider area, whereas a laser brings light into a much more concentrated form. The difference is focus. In much the same way, our mental energy can spread in many different directions, or it can gather around one chosen experience. Concentration allows us to keep what we have conjured focused in the mind. Eventually, this allows us to build power within it through our other magical faculties and techniques. But all of that will come later. For now, we are simply learning how to focus the light into that laser beam. One of the most important things to understand about concentration is that it cannot be forced. When we try hard to concentrate, the mind becomes divided. One part of the mind attempts to remain with the experience, while another part watches, judges, corrects, and worries about whether we are doing it properly. That is not greater concentration, it's actually more scattering. Concentration requires a light touch. The mind wanders, we notice, and we return. The return is never evidence that the practice failed. The return is the practice. Today we are going to explore this through a very simple game. The object that we conjure will not be something special, symbolic, or magical. It will be whatever ordinary object happens to catch your eye. That randomness is important. We do not want an object that represents something you desire, fear, miss, or wish to change. We want to choose something in which you have no emotional investment. The object you choose will simply be a piece of practice equipment. We are going to conjure our experience of it and practice remaining with that conjuration, and that's all. Simply look around wherever you are and let your eyes fall on something at random. Whatever you happen to notice first will do. It might be a door handle, a cup, a pencil, a lampshade, a trash basket, anything at all. If your eyes happen to land on something emotionally important to you, let that go and move on to some other ordinary object. Don't ask what the object means or why you happen to notice it. It was chosen at random precisely because it does not mean anything. We are not creating a thought form with this exercise. We are not casting a spell. We are not attempting to influence the object in any way. We are simply playing a game. And this game develops two of the skills used in magic: conjuring, which we already began developing in Lesson 3, and concentration. Once you have your object, take a few moments to experience it. Now, you're not trying to memorize it. Simply notice it. Notice its shape, its color, its size, its texture. You may have a sense of its weight or temperature. You might imagine how it might feel in your hand. There's no list of details that you have to collect or anything. Just allow yourself to experience the object naturally. Once you've spent just a few moments doing that, close your eyes or turn your gaze away from the object and conjure your own inner experience of it. Remember, you do not need to see a perfect picture. You may experience its shape, texture, weight, color, or a vibe. You may simply just know it's there. However you conjure this object is perfectly sufficient. As you remain with the object, the way you experience it may change. You might begin by seeing it, and then the picture fades while its texture or weight becomes more noticeable. Maybe the details disappear completely, but you still know that the object is there. That doesn't mean that you've done something wrong or that you've lost concentration. It's not important that you freeze the conjuration into one unchanging form. As long as you remain with the same conjured object, you are still playing the game. We are maintaining our relationship with the conjuration, not pinning it down. Now we are going to add concentration to the conjuration. Think of this as learning the old circus trick of spinning a plate on the end of a stick. The performer sets the plate spinning and then keeps it balanced by giving a light touch whenever it begins to wobble. Someone learning this trick expects the plate to slow down, wobble, and fall many times. They simply pick it up each time, place it back on the stick, and set it spinning again. In this exercise, your conjured object is like that plate. As long as you are remaining with the object, the plate is spinning. When your attention wanders away from the object, the plate has fallen. If the plate falls, it doesn't mean that you failed. Just notice that it fell and set it spinning again. That's part of learning the skill. So whenever you realize that your mind has wandered, simply return to the object, and if necessary, conjure it again. Pick up the plate, set it spinning, and continue the game. Now very lightly remain with the object. You do not need to make it clearer. You do not need to make it stronger. You do not need to hold it perfectly still. Simply keep the conjured object central in your mind. In just a moment, I will give you a little time to play with this. Anytime you notice your mind wandering, gently just return it back to the object. Nothing has gone wrong. The plate fell, pick it up, and set it spinning again to continue playing. We're going to begin now. Remain with the object as lightly as you can. Whenever you wander, simply return. Now, let the conjuration go. Open your eyes and allow the exercise to be finished. Whatever happened in your session, you practiced concentration. Perhaps the object remained central for quite a while. Perhaps your mind wandered with each millisecond. Perhaps the way you experienced the object kept changing. All of that is inconsequential. The purpose of the exercise was not to maintain perfect focus or understand why your mind drifts. It was simply to practice concentration. And by doing the exercise, you did exactly that. Every time you remained with the object, you practiced concentration. Every time you noticed that your mind had wandered, you practiced concentration. Every time you returned to the object, you practiced concentration. No matter what happened during the exercise, the practice did its work. The spinning plate helps us to understand what to do when the mind wanders. But here's another way to understand why every attempt still counts. Think of this exercise like joining an exercise class. You may not perform every movement with perfect form the first time, but you're still exercising your body. Your form can improve as you continue. In the same way, you don't need to practice concentration perfectly in order for the practice to strengthen concentration. Form improves over time. The exercise already works. This week, for your daily practice, allow your eyes to fall upon any ordinary object at random. Experience it directly, then set a timer for 2 minutes. Close your eyes or look away and conjure an experience of that object. Then remain with that conjuration until the timer sounds. Do not time how long you remain focused before your mind wanders. Don't count how often you have to return. There is no personal best that you're supposed to beat here. The timer simply gives the game a beginning and an end. After practicing this for a couple of days, you may increase the time that you spend concentrating by 1 minute, but only if the exercise still feels light and enjoyable. You can gradually work your way to 5 minutes if you like, but there's no need to push beyond that, and there's no reward for rushing. Your practice is what counts. If you start feeling tired, tense, or frustrated, stop the practice immediately and try again tomorrow with a shorter session. Concentration is not built through force or fatigue. It develops through light, regular practice. In Lesson 3, we learned how to conjure an inner experience. In this lesson, we learned how to remain with what we have conjured. Later, concentration will allow us to keep our conjuration focused in the mind while other magical faculties come into play. Remember, conjure the object, remain with it. When the plate falls, set it spinning again. That's the entire game. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell. Until next time, blessed be.